So people, right, let's have a look at an easier way to play, an easier way to swing, and an easier way to create consistency. What we're looking at doing is get 60% of your weight on your lead leg, your left hip, over your left ankle. The shaft and the lead arm in one line. Now people, this is getting us really close to that little shift across through the wall. We get that 4 to 6 inches of lateral shift. So in your address position, you can get really close to your impact position. We need 12 degrees. That's the tour average, 12 degrees of shaft lean. When we have shaft lean, we get ball ground contact. When we don't have shaft lean, we compromise our angle of attack. We're adding artificial loft, fat shots, thin shots. That's why when we get into this position, it's going to help so many of you hit more clean and consistent shots.
So people, this position here is just so much easier, just so much easier for the masses of the people out there. The club just literally falls down into the perfect slot position. Now have a look at this club face at the top. Have a look where it's pointing. It's pretty basic. It's pointing directly over the head. Right? Now we're going to take a look at this position. This is like getting into pre-impact. It's like pre-impact at the top of your golf swing. And there's a couple of basic clear moves that I'm going to take you through so you can slot your downswing, just making golf simple. Over 90% of golfers are losing angles in their downswing and flipping at impact. Over 80% of golfers are slicing the ball. And it's estimated that over 95% of golfers never reach their potential. We need an easier way to swing. So let's get stuck into a video here. This is part of the new swing style, deep to shallow swing style at WorldClassGolf.com, and the feedback has really just simply been overwhelming. And we're going to take you through some positions and drills and a system here to improve your ball striking immediately.
So guys, just creating a great backswing, it just makes your swing and your downswing is so much easier and just so much more consistent. So let's go through a couple of basic clear things here so that we can understand what we need to practice and feel and understand the golf swing a little bit, right? So if I take my address position here, my shoulder plane at the top would be a 40-degree angle. That would point 1 yard over the golf ball. Right, so that's your PGA average, keeping your shoulder down under your chin. And by just like, there's a simple way there. You can just put the club on your shoulders and turn to the top and point it 1 yard over. The important thing there, the important message to get across is when you get your lead arm positioned either on that shoulder plane, slightly above it if that's what you like, or slightly underneath it, you're in a corridor here, people, that makes the downswing just so much easier.
Now people, let's have a look how we can create this perfect club face position at the top of the swing, making ball striking so much easier, and how we can all compress the ball much, much more effectively.
Now, if we have a closed face, and obviously closed and strong grips and strong faces, they're better than weak ones, right? We hit the ball further. But if the club face is closed, if I get some forward shaft lean, the club face is straight. So what we're going to do, right, in conventional terms, we've been looking at getting a 2-knuckle grip for a lot of people and getting, the sole of the club lined up with the lead forearm. Unfortunately, what happens from there is a lot of people will actually slightly open the face a little bit coming down, and when they try and get forward shaft lean, they hit it way right, and subconsciously, really, they don't realize they're doing it. They just sort of flip and come back to impact and really lose their angles. Now there's ways to go about it, but if you want to get a much easier way, here's an easier way. You get your left hand or your lead hand, 1, 2, 3, you turn your hand in so that you see 3 knuckles, so that your lead wrist is more into extension, which is going to give you some play and movement anyway. But you get to the top of your swing and you still manage to get a flat left wrist from this position. And what it will do is it will get this sole of the club slightly higher than the lead forearm, and this will have to make you hang on to your angles. If you're coming back to impact like this, you're going to hit it left, you need forward shaft lean. This is going to encourage that position. We're going to bring this club down and we're going to be able to get this club level with the hands or slightly behind the hands. This is your entry. Are you filming your swings with your mobile phones? You really, really should be. I mean, who's not doing it? Right, and this is what we're showing you at World Class Golf. So guys, right, really good wrist alignments, perfect structure at the top. When you could physically feel something on your arm, I mean, how good is this thing here? This has changed my backswing so much. The hanger, how I use it, I set it up, right, and I put it a couple of finger widths away from my arm. Now when I swing back, I get it to touch my arm. What that does first off is it gets the club face in a perfect position matching my spine angle. I've got contact. If I lose that contact, I toe it up. When we start to toe things up too much, for so many of us out there, we open up the face, the left shoulder moves out and around. Normally the hips also move towards the target. We lose the wrist alignments, and it sets off what we would call a negative chain reaction. Unfortunately in golf, you get something wrong at the start and you're given about 7 or 8 mistakes after that. Get something right, we've got a positive chain reaction, right? That sets off a positive chain of movements, and all of a sudden we've got ourselves moving in the right direction. The area that I like to look at the most is creating really good structure at the top, meaning, a lot of people don't realize this, if you break your wrist too much, your lead wrist will move into extension. Just about every single time. Now, for people at the top of the swing, once you've got this condition here, the lead arm will tend to bend. Even if it doesn't, you're going to have a cupped wrist. And this, people from here, it's difficult to square that face back up. So by just feeling and keeping, especially in the downswing, keeping connection here. So if I get to the top of my swing and I just keep the connection, that is a shallowing, flattening characteristic when it stays against my arm. It comes in behind the hands. When the ring leaves, what happens is the left wrist cups and the right wrist will have no angle in it. And a lot of people come from the outside with open faces. It's not the elbow, it's the hands. See that move there? See my right wrist? See the trail wrist? Right, now through the golf ball here, that's just what you want to be able to feel. So you make swings, just feel it touching your arm on the way through. This is where I use it differently. I like to have or try and get through on a neutral style release here, so I'll get the ring to touch the inside of the trail arm. And this, people, is getting your wrists to move more effectively, loosening up the swing, creating power, but at the same time you're creating a neutral style release with the face down. It's great to be able to hit balls with something on, and you can feel it, and then you don't have to think, because you know your repetitions, you know your practice, you're moving closer to those PGA averages, those movements where those great players are. The hanger guys, there's a description, or a discount code I should say, in the description box underneath. Check it out, because it absolutely is a no-brainer.
So people, let's have a look at the best drill of all time now to set off a huge positive chain reaction on your entire golf swing.
Right guys, this is a really interesting drill to get the correct wrist and hand alignments and get your body working effectively. Let's have a look at this. What we're going to do is preset the club. Okay, so you try to keep your hands in the same position, presetting it, but keeping the club here pointed at 1 o'clock. Now when you do that, your left wrist is going to be really flat and you've got some angle. Now if you notice, when I get the club to 12, there's no angle in the wrist, no power, slicing, flipping, the whole lot. This is the key, building up this angle, the creases in the wrist. So you preset, I'll show you from the front view, and from here, keep connection and turn. And it's going to get you in a bit of a stronger position at the top here. This is something that's really, really important for you guys. 1 o'clock. Preset, up to the top, keep the connection. Lead wrist flat, look at the angle in my right wrist. The deeper you get the shoulders, the more angle. The more you're up, the more you look shut. Okay, the more you're up, the club face is shut. The more you're down, the bigger the angle. And this is how you create really a lot of speed. From this view, it's a great drill, this one. Have a look at this. So keep the hands almost in the circle, pointed at 1 o'clock. You've got your angle, swing back, get that right shoulder behind you, and you've got a feeling where that elbow can come in into such a pure position.
Voted best swing analysis and best online instruction by several independent surveys. World Class Golf Instruction is transforming thousands of golfers at every skill level. Do not miss out. This video platform has over 1,400 videos and 85 separate masterclass series. The most structured and detailed video platform ever created, improving golfers on average between 4 and 11 shots. Join the chat room and join the community of world-class golf instruction. This is golf instruction that you've never seen before. The proven PGA corridors, factual evidence-based material. Unleash your true potential with the cutting-edge swing analysis technology. Experience the thrill of progress with the state-of-the-art practice programs and specialized golf fitness plans. Best information available.
Now, one of the great things about getting your wrists in a great place is you can plow through the golf ball and get into an awesome impact position. You just got to know where that is. Unfortunately, these days, there's just so much instruction out there all over the place, and there's no commonality. It's just weird, especially looking at these positions. You would probably say, all right, all these guys are in the same spot, right? But no, that's not being taught, unfortunately. This is a blueprint, really, and this is what we show on WorldClassGolf.com. Dr. Rob Neal's analysed 550 PGA professionals. We're getting there at impact and saying, okay, how much shaft lean do we have? Well, 12 degrees the PGA average. There's 13. Understanding how to move through the golf ball. If every single player is here, well, where are you? And this is the thing that we have to understand. We have to actually follow evidence-based material, because if every single player is in this position and you're not, what does that mean? Now, once we've got great wrist alignment, you can really learn to move through the ball freely once you understand impact. And look at this position here. For example, go through a couple of players here. The right leg, what's the angle here as I draw the right leg down? 79 degrees. Have a look at that number. Have a look at Adam Scott here. What's this? 60 degrees. Now, where's 79? Right? Have a look at this. That's 79 degrees there. Look, that's how far away the amateur players are. And when you look at averages, the numbers of where amateurs are, it's fascinating how close they are to one another. We've got 80 degrees there. This is absolutely mind-blowing where we're seeing the trail leg, and amateurs are a little bit confused how the hips work here, and just not moving through the golf ball effectively. So we're going to take you through now an amazing drill here to get you inside and closer to these averages of movement, right, where great players are. There's an average of this right leg. Every top player is under 70 degrees, and all the amateur players are much, much higher than that, 82. There's another one, exactly the same thing. What are your numbers, guys? Send me a swing through of your online lesson, just helping people from all around the world. Let's have a look now at a basic drill, a feel to move through the golf ball to free up, move through the golf ball more effectively, and get much better consistent compression on the golf ball.
We know we need some lateral shift in the golf swing. We have around 4 to 6 inches, and we need to open up the hips so that we get clear away through the ball. We're not creating a collision course. And these hips, if that's being 10 degrees, they can turn between 35 to 55. We're getting that PGA zone or corridor. Now, the reason I mention this is we can be technical without being mechanical, but we need to understand we need to get closer to some of these positions to consistently propel a golf ball down the line. What we're looking at here is getting the right knee to cover or be on top or over the golf ball at impact. And we want this right knee to get to this finish line or get to the golf ball before the hands do. And what it does is it assures that the knees are moving slightly towards the target, and it's a bit of a 2-in-1 movement. The less we think, the better it is. So we're going to hit some golf balls and get the right knee. It also helps, of course, when we get the right knee to the golf ball, that we have the hips out of the way. That creates some power. It creates some freedom through the golf ball. And unfortunately, a lot of the time we're seeing amateur golfers come down, and a lot of the club players really freezing up here with the knees and creating a bit of a collision course, and the elbows widening and really causing, not such a lot of different problems in and around impact. So by practicing this move, here's how we do it. It's pretty basic. You get to the top of your swing, you're keeping yourself centered, and when you're moving down, you're just getting that knee to get to the golf ball just before your hands do, and just applying a few practice swings, getting a feel for this movement, and then you can move through the ball. And it's just getting your knees to lead slightly as we get up into a nice balanced finish position. Right knee to the golf ball. It's a great swing thought. It's a great checkpoint. And if you can get in there and practice it rather than having your right knee over your right ankle at impact, this is going to really help you create a much more dynamic, free impact position to hit clean, consistent golf shots down the line.